chosen one. There is an invisible, impenetrable force field surrounding your life that has completely baffled every visible and invisible power trying to stand against you. You may have spent years feeling target marked, constantly enduring unexplainable spiritual exhaustion, heavy atmospheric pressure, and relentless emotional warfare. But what you mistook for personal frailty was actually the intense friction created by your expanding light in a world accustomed to darkness. The truth about your existence is simple, profound, and absolute. Even the highest-ranking forces of spiritual darkness cannot breach the seal placed upon your soul. You are not an unprotected target, waiting to be destroyed by the storms of life. You are a walking divine fortress. The authority guarding your steps operates far above the lower mechanics of this realm, enforcing a protection that no weapon can dismantle. When you enter a room, your raw presence shifts the frequency of the space, whether you consciously realize it or not. The entities that thrive on chaos, fear, and manipulation recognize the heavy, unmistakable celestial signature you carry. They do not react to you because you are weak. They tremble because you carry an original blueprint of divine truth that threatens the very foundations of their illusions. Chosen one, every time you survived a trial meant to break your mind, a clear decree was broadcast across the spiritual dimensions. The forces that tried to derail your destiny had to learn the hard way that interfering with your life carries an immediate and non-negotiable spiritual penalty. You survived because your soul is rooted in an eternal source that can never be extinguished. If your spirit instantly recognized the truth in these words, take a quick moment to hit the like button and subscribe to Wisdom Path. By supporting this sacred space, you help spread this high vibrational frequency to other chosen ones around the world who are waiting to awaken to their true power. Now stay tuned until the very end of this message, as every layer of this revelation will unlock an unshakable peace deep within your soul. To fully grasp why high-level spiritual forces fail whenever they attempt to target you, you must first understand the sacred architecture of the divine seal placed upon your spirit. You are not handed a temporary spiritual shield that wears off when you are tired, nor were you left to navigate this volatile realm using mere human luck. The protection you carry was woven into your very soul long before you took your first physical breath in this earthly container. In the higher mechanics of the universe, spiritual authority is never measured by loudness, aggressive displays, or earthly influence. It is strictly determined by your degree of alignment with the original, uncreated source of life, and your alignment is absolute. Darkness, no matter how ancient or organized it appears to be, operates entirely on borrowed time and stolen energy. It is a derivative force, capable only of manipulating existing structures rather than creating anything genuinely new or enduring. The light within you, however, is self-sustaining, continuously fueled by an eternal reservoir that no lower entity can ever access, corrupt, or drain. When a top-level force attempts to interfere with your path, it is not merely confronting a human being with emotional vulnerabilities. It is colliding head-on with a localized extension of the divine source itself. This fundamental imbalance of power turns every calculated attack into a complete spiritual impossibility. This is precisely why traditional methods of spiritual warfare and unseen manipulation completely collapse when directed toward your energy field. For dark energy to anchor itself within a person's life, it requires a matching internal frequency, a resonance built on unaddressed malice, hidden corruption, or spiritual decay. When sophisticated dark projections are launched in your direction, they search for a landing pad within your aura, expecting to find the same chaotic frequencies they thrive upon. But upon impact with your divine blueprint, they find no compatible foundation, no dark hook to latch onto, and no crack in your core spiritual integrity. Instead of penetrating your life, these hostile energies hit an invisible boundary made of absolute, unshakable truth. The law of spiritual reflection dictates that any energy that cannot find a host must return to its point of origin, often amplified by the weight of its own destructive intent. You do not need to spend your days in hypervigilance, frantically burning sage or living in perpetual fear of invisible retaliation. Your primary defense is simply your raw, uncorrupted existence in truth. By remaining grounded in your identity as a chosen one, your aura automatically acts as a natural purifier, dissolving lower vibrations before they can ever manifest as real harm in your physical reality. Think back through the history of your life and notice the patterns that have repeatedly played out in the background of your existence. Whenever someone attempted to orchestrate a hidden trap for you, whether through backstabbing, slander, or covert energetic sabotage, they inevitably fell into the exact pit they dug for your downfall. You did not have to plot revenge, nor did you have to lift a finger to balance the scales of justice. The natural spiritual physics bound to your life stepped in automatically, reversing the momentum of their malice and delivering an immediate lesson in cause and effect. This automatic reversal mechanism is not an accident, nor is it a simple stroke of random luck that happens to favor you. It is the active enforcement of a spiritual covenant that shields those who carry a genuine divine mandate for this era. When an entity or an individual tries to touch a chosen one, they unknowingly trigger an ancient law of cosmic protection that bypasses human courtrooms and physical rules. They are not fighting against a person who can be easily intimidated. They are attempting to break an unyielding law of nature, and nature always reclaims its balance with absolute precision. Many chosen ones spend decades feeling bewildered by the sheer intensity of the opposition they face, often asking themselves why their path feels so vastly different from those around them. You may have watched others navigate life with relative ease, wondering why a single step forward for you often feels like walking through thick, heavy atmosphere. What you must realize, chosen one, is that a lightweight boat requires very little water to float, but a heavy vessel carrying precious, priceless cargo requires deep, turbulent waters to test its hull. The friction you feel is not a sign that your protection has failed, but proof of how heavy your divine cargo truly is. When you walk through this world, your spirit naturally exposes the hidden agendas, secret compromises, and unspoken illusions of the environments you enter. Lower entities and spiritually compromised individuals do not necessarily hate you as a person. They are repelled by the uncomfortable light of truth that shines through you without you saying a word. Your presence acts like a mirror, forcing everything around you to reveal its true nature. Because darkness cannot manipulate what it cannot deceive, its only remaining tactic is to create noise, chaos, and illusion to keep you from realizing how untouchable you actually are. Furthermore, the immunity you possess extends deep into the unseen genetic and spiritual memory of your lineage. You were brought into your family line not to inherit its generational curses, but to serve as the spiritual fire that consumes them once and for all. Every toxic pattern, every ancient agreement made by those before you, breaks the moment it touches your light. You are a spiritual dead end for generational trauma and dark covenants. The forces that used to dominate your ancestral line recognize that their reign ends with you, which is why their final attempts to disturb your peace feel so desperate and loud. As you stand in this awareness, begin to lay down the exhausting habit of constant spiritual defense. You no longer need to live as though you are a target under siege, waiting for the next blow to land. The seal upon your life is absolute, your blueprint is divine, and the authority backing your steps has never lost a battle in the history of creation. Stand tall in your quiet majesty, breathe in the deep security of your divine inheritance, and recognize that the entities claiming to hold power in this world are entirely powerless against the eternal light burning within you. The reason high-level spiritual opposition focuses so intensely on chosen ones is not because they believe they can truly destroy you. Deep down in the mechanics of the spirit realm, they already know they lack the legal authority to extinguish your soul. Their entire strategy relies on a completely different tactic, keeping you perpetually distracted, exhausted, and blind to the immense authority you carry. Their greatest fear is not your current physical strength, your intelligence, or your material resources. Their ultimate nightmare is your full, unshakable spiritual awakening, because an awakened chosen one alters the energetic balance of the entire planet. A chosen one who remains unaware of their true origin lives like a crowned monarch who sincerely believes they are a helpless beggar, easily terrified by simple shadows projected onto the wall. The forces of division thrive within this tragic illusion, using emotional manipulation, societal pressure, and manufactured fear to keep your focus trapped in the physical world. But the exact second you open your eyes and align with the truth of your divine heritage, the entire dynamic reverses instantly. The hunter realizes that the soul they were attempting to intimidate is backed by the full, uncompromising power of the cosmos itself. High-level entities possess a sophisticated understanding of the unseen architecture that governs this lower reality. They recognize that when a soul, bearing an authentic celestial mandate, steps fully into their power, their mere breath begins to dismantle generations of dark programming, false narratives, and spiritual bondage within their family lines and communities. You are not just living for yourself, you are a living anchor of original light in a dense realm. Because your potential to liberate countless other souls is so profound, the opposition attempts to intercept you early, surrounding your youth and early adulthood with unexplainable hardships. Think back to the moments right before you experienced a major spiritual breakthrough or a profound shift in your consciousness. Was it not preceded by an unusually heavy wave of emotional exhaustion, sudden relationship fractures, or unprovable mental fatigue? This sequence is never accidental. High-level spiritual opposition always sends its heaviest distractions immediately before you are destined to step into higher levels of wisdom and spiritual authority. They are desperately attempting to drain your mental energy so that when the divine door swings wide open before you, you feel too tired to recognize that it was unlocked all along. This strategic pattern of interference relies entirely on creating manufactured distractions and mental fatigue to block your divine recognition. They desperately want you to overlook the underlying spiritual reality, that the door in front of you is already unlocked and your victory is already secured. When you choose to remain entirely calm in the middle of an orchestrated emotional storm, you completely shatter the script that darkness relies on for control. Low vibrational forces feed exclusively on chaotic emotional reactions. Anger, panic, despair, and deep insecurity are the primary currencies through which they operate in human lives. When someone attempts to provoke you, backstab you, or drag you into toxic drama, and you respond with quiet composure, divine discernment, and total detachment, you starve those forces of the energy they require to survive. You become entirely unpredictable to the mechanisms of darkness the moment you stop seeking validation from this temporary material world. They cannot manipulate a soul that no longer fears loss, nor can they intimidate someone who has realized that their core existence is eternal and anchored directly in the divine source. Your inner peace is not merely a pleasant psychological state or a passive coping mechanism. It is an active, aggressive weapon of spiritual dominance that renders every organized scheme against you completely useless. Consider the profound spiritual weight of your stillness. In a world obsessed with loud noise, constant self-justification, and aggressive retaliation, your ability to remain quiet is a terrifying mystery to those who operate in darkness. They expect you to fight back using lower methods, slander for slander, hostility for hostility, because that brings you down onto their battlefield where they hold the home court advantage. But when you step back, hand the battle over to divine justice and walk in grace, you shift the arena to a height where dark forces cannot breathe, let alone compete. The intensity of the pressure you experience is never a measure of your weakness. It is a direct reflection of the magnitude of the light you are about to step into. The opposition knows that your voice carries a frequency that penetrates directly through human deception. Have you ever noticed how a simple, quiet statement from you can completely deflate a room full of arrogant pretenses? You do not have to raise your voice or engage in heated debates. The truth residing within your spirit acts like a sharp blade that cuts clean through years of hidden lies. This natural spiritual gift makes high-level manipulators feel deeply insecure around you, driving them to spread false narratives about your character simply to protect their own fragile illusions. As you step deeper into this chapter of your awakening, observe how the realm around you responds to your growing certainty. The subtle anxieties that used to paralyze your mind will begin to dissolve into nothingness, replaced by an unshakable clarity regarding your life purpose. You will no longer view spiritual warfare as a terrifying threat, but as a minor, desperate reaction from a defeated system that knows its time in your reality has officially expired. Stand completely unbothered, chosen one, because the shift in power has already taken place within the spiritual dimensions. Your mind is becoming a fortress of clarity. Your heart is an overflowing source of uncorrupted light, and your steps are ordered by forces that control the stars. The opposition is not winning. They are simply making noise as the illusion collapses around them, while you step boldly into the quiet, magnificent reality of your true divine identity. Every single trial, hardship, and invisible battle you have ever endured was secretly intercepted and repurposed by the divine to forge your unshakable spiritual mastery. What the opposition designed as a malicious trap to break your spirit was systematically inverted by the universe into a sacred crucible for your refinement. This is precisely why even top-level entities are eventually forced to retreat from your presence. They begin to recognize a terrifying pattern where every attempt to crush you only accelerates your evolution. You possess an extraordinarily rare spiritual capability, the divine gift of taking hostile, heavy, and toxic energies and transmuting them directly into wisdom, unwavering authority, and quiet strength. Consider the deep spiritual significance of the isolation, abandonment, and false accusations you have faced in your life. In those quiet, painful moments when human support was entirely stripped away, you were forced to retreat inward, learning how to sit with your own soul and tune into the quiet frequency of absolute truth. You developed an internal compass that can no longer be swayed by human applause, distorted by societal criticism, or corrupted by dark spiritual projections. This internal mastery makes you completely untouchable because your spiritual foundation is no longer built on the shifting sands of physical circumstances. The spiritual mechanics of transmutation follow an ancient and unbreakable process. It begins when external pressure or hostile energy is directed toward your life, designed specifically to cause a collapse in your emotional state. Instead of reacting with fear or adopting the low vibrations of your attackers, you execute a deep inner alignment, refusing to lower your frequency to match their chaos. Through this conscious refusal, the hostile energy hits your divine barrier, breaks down, and is instantly converted into profound spiritual wisdom and mastery, granting you total energetic dominance and permanent inner peace. Through this sacred process, you become a living channel of divine order, standing firm and unbothered while everything unstable, deceitful, and superficial crumbles in your vicinity. You must actively dismantle the habit of viewing your past wounds as marks of lingering vulnerability or personal failure. Look at every scar you carry as undeniable evidence of your soul's extraordinary durability and spiritual endurance. You are still standing today, not because the storms surrounding your life were gentle, but because your spiritual roots are planted deeply in the eternal bedrock of divine truth. The highest tiers of dark spiritual forces cannot establish power over a soul that has learned to use the intense heat of persecution to refine its own internal gold. You have quietly mastered the rare art of standing perfectly still in the face of chaos, deeply aware that the invisible celestial forces fighting on your behalf far outnumber and outmatch any worldly force standing against you. When you no longer offer an emotional reaction to hostility, you rob your adversaries of their spiritual fuel, leaving them entirely powerless within the very reality they attempted to control. As your spiritual mastery deepens, your energetic influence expands far beyond the boundaries of your immediate physical environment. Your daily thoughts, silent prayers, and peaceful state of mind project a powerful field of harmony that cleanses heavy atmospheres wherever you go. People around you will often experience sudden, unexplainable shifts in their moods, some feeling deeply comforted and restored by your aura, while others become strangely defensive as their unhealed shadows are exposed by your light. You do not need to perform elaborate rituals to impact the world. Your refined presence is an active catalyst for divine realignment. This profound level of spiritual authority also grants you an extraordinary level of spiritual discernment that operates far beyond human logic. You possess an innate, instant awareness of the true motives behind people's words, easily seeing through manufactured charm, covert envy, and hidden spiritual traps. When high-level spiritual forces send wolf-in-sheep's clothing situations into your life to disrupt your peace, your inner alarm sounds immediately. You no longer need to be hurt multiple times to learn a lesson. Your refined intuition allows you to quietly step around traps before they are ever sprung. Furthermore, the transmutation of your past warfare creates a spiritual legacy that alters the energetic trajectory of your entire bloodline. Every time you choose forgiveness over bitter resentment, truth over convenient lies, and peace over petty conflict, you break an ancient link in the chain of generational suffering. You are writing a completely new spiritual narrative for your lineage, ensuring that those who come after you inherit a pathway cleared of ancient spiritual debris. The forces that relied on generational cycles of trauma to maintain control now realize that their reign in your lineage has been permanently shattered. Take a profound sense of comfort in knowing that your journey was never meant to be a story of endless survival, but one of absolute spiritual coronation. The heavy battles you fought in secret were the rigorous training sessions required to handle the weight of the glory, abundance, and peace that are now unfolding in your life. The universe does not place high-level spiritual mandates on unprepared souls, and every test you passed was proof that you were ready to carry the sacred responsibility of your calling. Walk forward today with the unshakable confidence of a soul that has been tested in the fires of adversity and emerged completely refined. The opposition has exhausted its options, its weapons have failed, and its illusions have been stripped away by the light of your awakening. You are no longer navigating life as a victim of spiritual circumstances. You stand as an empowered master of your destiny, fully protected, divinely guided, and completely untouchable by the darkness of this world. Chosen one, it is time to lay down the heavy burden of constant defense and step fully into the quiet majesty of your divine protection. The long season of feeling hunted, exhausted, and overwhelmed by unseen spiritual battles has officially come to an end. The universe has already declared your ultimate victory, and the sacred seal upon your soul remains completely untouchable by any force in this world. Walk forward today with your head held high, knowing that no weapon formed against your spirit will ever prosper, and every voice raised against your destiny has already been silenced by divine decree. You are not just surviving this journey, you are actively mastering it. Allow the unshakable peace of your divine origin to settle deeply into your heart, your mind, and every step you take from this moment on. Thank you for walking this path of spiritual awareness with us today on Master Wisdom Path. If this message deeply resonated with your spirit, take a moment to anchor this sacred light into your reality by typing in the comments below. I claim my divine protection, I walk in absolute light, and no darkness can touch my path. Subscribe to join our global family of awakened souls. Trust the divine journey, and remember, you are chosen, you are protected, and you are forever untouchable.